It all comes back to money.
This is the Keeping Your Money Show with Jamie Westenbarger and Bart Steinler.
All right, welcome back to Keep Your Money Show. Jamie Westenbarger, joined as always by Bart Steinler. We've been talking about home health care costs, using an HSA in retirement instead of using it today. If you've never thought of that, you should listen to that part of the show. If you didn't hear it, you can do that on our podcast. Just go to keepingyourmoney.com and click on the previous shows. Or you can also do it through our podcast partners at iTunes, Google Play Music, and a few other ones. Just search for the Keeping Your Money Show. If you ever want to contact us, you can always, of course, do that. Our toll-free number is 888-98-MONEY. That's 888-986-6639. Or shoot us an email, info@keepingyourmoney.com. If you want to hear me talk about something other than money, you can do that Tuesday. Going to be on the Huge Show for an hour. Showing up around 5, I think. So I'm sure we'll be talking about football. And
I love the Huge Show. I tune that in every day when I'm driving home. It's a great drive home show to listen to.
And you know, it's funny. Like he gets so much flack, and I will tell you, and I wouldn't even bother saying this if it wasn't true. Personally, Bill is a really cool guy, and the fact that he tolerates some of the things that he tolerates. He's got a much longer fuse than I do.
Yeah.
I'm glad no one goes on to the Keeping Your Money Facebook page and says anything like they say to him, because I don't know. I don't think I would be as.
We wouldn't necessarily respond to those comments.
It would be a good idea not to.
We do respond to everybody that does.
We do.
But so far we haven't had a problem with people being impolite on that.
Right. We'll screen those out.
We'll screen those out. But if you're a good person and polite and you have questions about money, your future, how to plan for your retirement, how much you should be saving, what kind of insurance coverages you need, need a recommendation for a good estate attorney, a recommendation for a good CPA, recommendation for a good person to help you out with your health insurance, with other types of insurance coverage like your home insurance and that type of stuff.
We got the connections.
We got it all.
We do.
Help you with your income plan and retirement. All you got to do is give us a call at 1-888-98-MONEY. That's 1-888-986-6639. Answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we will get back to you.
Remember back in the 90s that saying, we are all that in a bag of chips? It's us.
Oh, yeah.
We're all that in a bag of chips.
That's right.
Like that, Laura? Like that, pulling that reference out of there?
That and 25 cents will get you a cup of coffee.
So let's talk about pensions.
It's another one of those aging statements because that isn't true anymore.
No, that's not going to get you a cup of coffee.
Those get you the cup, but not the coffee.
Those pesky things called pensions that nobody has anymore. Unless you're lucky enough to still work for the government or you're a teacher or something like that. But this article brought up something that I think is interesting because we are seeing a lot of people that still have these kind of legacy pensions, right? Mm-hmm. So they're approaching retirement. They worked somewhere for 30 years. 15 years ago, the company ended the pension program, but they're still kind of locked in to what that was. And many of those companies, not wanting to have huge pension obligations, offer the lump sum. So, Bart, you're going to retire. You worked for us for 42 years. 12 years ago, we got rid of the pension, but you were already vested, so we'll send you a check for $600 a month. Or how would you like this big fat check for $100 and some thousand to just go away and never ask us for anything again in the future? And a lot of people are faced with, what do I do with that?
Right.
And a lot of times we even see where just the misconception of how is that even treated? Like, if I take the lump sum, do I get taxed on it? Do I have them put that in my bank account? Do I roll that over? Those are questions we get a lot. The number one thing is you roll it over. It's qualified plan, so you roll it into some type of qualified investment like an IRA, but they're not cut and dry. It's so similar to what we talk about with so many things where, these national news media likes to use specific things. We were just talking about this earlier, Bart, where some guy said if you put 15% of your income away for 35 years, you'll have 85%. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
It depends.
Yeah.
How many people really do that for 35 years? And, so it's kind of the same thing with this is it's like you can't ever say take the lump sum or take the monthly. There's a lot of factors that go into it.
Well, and I'd say one of the first places you have to start is what is your personal situation?
Right.
Are you carrying a lot of debt? Do you have other sources of income that are going to pay you on a monthly basis?
Yeah. What's your financial plan without this pension? Right.
Right. Maybe you have 6 or 8 rental houses and they're all paid for and they're generating $6,000 of income for you every month, free and clear, after expenses. Well, then maybe we could do something different with this pension money.
Maybe you've planned really well. You have the assets to successfully retire.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Social Security's fully funded. You're retiring at your full retirement age, and this $600 a month is going to make a big difference to you. But if you took the lump sum, maybe there's something specific you would want to do with that. Maybe that becomes the part of your retirement plan that's used for travel or something like that. So there's a lot of ways to look at it. The number one thing though is you want to look at the implied return that's built into that. So whatever the monthly amount they're promising you is, that helps you come up with what the implied return is. If that implied return is less than what you would anticipate your return to be if you were to invest that money yourself, then it's not a good deal in most instances. Mm-hmm. If the implied return for the monthly payment from the pension company is significantly higher than what you feel you could return yourself, then it may make sense to take that monthly payment. But there's other factors too. Your health, the health of your spouse, your family dynamic. Are there other people you take care of that money would be necessary for? Because remember, usually if you take a monthly pension and something happens to you and you're no longer with us, at most your spouse may get continuation, but even many times the spouse doesn't.
Or if the spouse does, it's at a drastically discounted rate, like maybe 50% or even more.
So you could end up taking the monthly because you simply looked at the implied rate of return and it was better, and 6 months later you pass away and
that didn't work out so well.
Didn't really turn out to be so great.
So another thing you want to look at too is the health of the pension. And we've talked about this on the show several times in the past couple of years, that a lot of these pensions are not fully funded. And if they're not fully funded, they may have to, what is called in the industry, take haircuts. In other words, you may be promised $600 a month, but because of the financial weakness of the pension itself, they may have to cut that back to $400 or $300. And if that's the case, your implied rate of return becomes, pretty much a meaningless number because you're not going to get it.
Right.
And, one company that's been in the news a lot, and I'm going to mention the name of the company, but this isn't either an endorsement or a negative on this company as from an investment standpoint, but it's General Electric. And General Electric, 10 years ago was one of the stellar companies, and it's gone, maybe a little bit more than that, but it's gone downhill quite a bit. And now the underfunding of their pension is like $30 billion. So if you're coming away from a company like that in the past had a stellar reputation, but currently has a huge underfunded liability in that pension, you can put that into the calculation of if you should take that or not. Like, what is the risk involved of some company that has a $30 billion underfunding of their pension, not having to cut that amount sometime in the future that they're paying you?
Well, I think you also have to be careful in how they're disclosing the underfunding as well. We've talked about before the state of California being significantly underfunded, but even more underfunded if you take away their funny math.
Right.
If they use their calculation, I think last time we looked at it, and don't quote me on this, but I believe they were using like a 9% rate of return to come up with that they were, 30 billion or 40 billion in the red, but yet they had never in the last 10 years returned 9% once. So if they used a more conservative return number like 7, they actually would have been like 80 billion in the red. So when you're examining the health of a pension plan, make sure you're not only looking at what's on the surface, but underneath
How
too.
they're calculating that.
Is there a real reality that this is going to be paid out? And just look at the company. I think a lot of times we'll see these pensions get grandfathered when a company gets bought. So if you get bought, your company gets bought, and maybe it used to be a family-run business, or at least a locally run business, and now it's part of a conglomerate. There's probably nothing in anything they negotiated in that sale that says that pension's guaranteed. It's there. They've grandfathered it. But unless you're like union represented and it's been bargained and all of that stuff, I mean, that always has the ability to not be there. You gotta remember that.
Even if it's bargained by the union,
it still can be reduced.
If the funds aren't there to pay it, the funds aren't there to pay it.
Right.
And some people will say, well, these are guaranteed by the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation, which, if you read the name of that, it implies that they're backing up all of the industrial companies' pensions in the United States. But as this article points out, it says it doesn't happen often, but when it does, the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation may assume responsibility for payments. However, in recent years, the PBGC has been chronically underfunded, and it's difficult to know where things will stand with them in 10 years.
And a lot of people don't realize, too, that their company may not fall under that.
Right.
That covers a certain amount of plans at certain numbers, and your company may not even be covered by the PGBC. So, all right, coming up, let's talk about Social Security. Is it a deficit problem? Right here on the Keeping Your Money Show.
There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to planning your future. Jamie, Bart, and all of the advisors at the Keeping Your Money Show understand that your financial goals are unique and your needs are going to change at varying stages of your life. Our team of advisors can help you tailor a financial plan that meets your unique needs. Call us today at 1-888-98-MONEY or visit keepingyourmoney.com to schedule your free initial consultation.